All right, hello everybody. Let's try that again. Hello everybody. There we go, good morning. It's first day of VMworld. Let's get a little excited here. All right, so welcome to 2.5 free tools to help troubleshoot vSphere problems. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. The required disclaimer, future or past performance is not an indicator of future success, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get this out of the way. All right, a little bit about me. I am Paul Woodward Jr. I'm a data center engineer with Presidio. You can find me on Twitter at ExploreVM, the ExploreVM podcast, and ExploreVM.com. A couple other things. Took third place in the Season 4 Virtual Design Master. And I'm coming up to be a delegate in Tech Field Day in September. And I've presented in 3 states at 8 different VMUGs, and now here at VMworld. All right, so let's dive right in. All right, first tool. Who here has heard of or uses, more importantly, uses vCheck? Couple of hands. All right, I hope after today we change that. So what vCheck is it's a PowerShell-based framework script. It's a bunch of smaller scripts all in one easy to use little container, and it checks the health of your vCenter, the health of your hosts, the health of your VMs. It checks capacity, it checks for alarms, snapshot alerting. Last I checked, it was about 150 different items were checked, but I do believe that is a little bit low. I think they're in the 160s now. You can run this as a scheduled task, or you can run it manually. Scheduled task comes in handy. When I was with an MSP, all of our clients who had a vCenter server that they paid us to monitor, we dropped vCheck in their environment, ran this every morning at 8 a.m., and it kicked an email over to me, so that way I could see what's going on in all of our clients' data centers. And it was my first hour of the day just to review these emails. You can also just have it spit out the output, and it'll drop it in a folder location, or again to the email. So why is this useful? I had a client a few years ago that said, hey, you know, we've got customer-facing web servers and FTP servers, and then every once in a while they crash. Customers can't fix their websites, work on their websites, save their files. And they said, but it shows data stores full, but when things come back up, the data stores aren't full. All right, well, let me come in. I brought in vCheck, and I installed it, ran it. It's a real quick and easy installation. When I do this at VMUGs, I usually do a demonstration on actual installation. We don't have the time for that. And so it gave me this output. It's a little bit of an eye chart up here. But what it's showing us, this is the actual output from this client, obviously with important information redacted. But what it's showing us here is there's several oversized snapshots stacked up, and we've also got phantom snapshots. Who here is familiar with phantom snapshots? All right, high-level overview for those of you that don't know. Phantom snapshots are snapshots that still exist in the data store, but they don't show up in your snapshot manager. Typically, the easiest way to get rid of these is to create another snapshot of the VM, and then once that's done, delete all. It usually takes care of that. If that doesn't work, you actually have to dive into the data store and manually delete the extra .0000001 whatever VMDK files. So what we saw here was on that SQL server and on their FTP server, there was phantom snapshots, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it all in here. What it also showed me was the age of some of these snapshots. Their main FTP website had a snapshot that was 6 months old, 12 months old, and 18 months old. So I saw that, and I approached the client and I said, so what's going on with these? Why do we have all of these snapshots stacked up? And they said, well, we do that. We take a snapshot whenever we do a software upgrade. Well, that's fair. I mean, that's a very good use case for snapshots. But you got to get rid of them right away. So I said, you don't really have a choice here. I'm going to delete these. Are you really going to revert back to 1.5 years ago's software version when you've been running on something else this long? Okay, fine. Deleted all of the stacked up, the old snapshots. Actually had to go in and manually delete some of those phantom snapshots because they were so old and they were so embedded. And sure enough, never heard from that client again on their hosts going down, or their websites going down. And that's all this from a free tool. So if this could be you, if you know how to use this, if you go out there and find it, this could be you. You could solve this on your own real quick and easy. The gentleman who created this, Alan Renouf, is around here somewhere. Find him and chat with him about it. There's plenty out there. This is an open source project, so community members can add plugins all the time. If you've got a feature request, you can throw it out there and somebody can whip it up, or you can try to do it yourself. We shall probably be learning a little bit of coding at this point, so it's a nice little way to start if you want to do something in your VMware environment. Next up, and I'll start this by saying I've not used this one, but people in the community have told me over and over and over again about this tool. I've seen a lot of thumbs up and arms shaking in the back. vTools, who here uses this one? A little bit more than vCheck, excellent. Still, we got some hands down. So this one, so you see it's a .NET application, uses the SDK to display information about the environment. It's similar to vCheck, and you can get it in a GUI or you can get the information in an email. And there's 24 metrics, I don't know if that's still accurate. This is the output you get. It's not, it's different. It's a different program than vCheck, but it gives you same information. You've got your CPU, your memory. You've got all sorts of information on switching, networking, storage, etc. Super useful from what I've been told. Again, I've not used this one. I default to vCheck, but both have equal weight in this community. So that's two tools. I bet we're wondering what constitutes a free tool. Does anybody, any ideas? Or a half tool, I'm sorry. We're already looking at free tools. These are all free to utilize. So I've been asked a few times, I told people you've got to come to the session to figure out what the half free tool is. And that half free tool is vRealize Log Insight. Who here uses vRealize Log Insight? Even, okay, a couple more hands. If you've got a vCenter, you should all be using this. As of last year, it is included with your vCenter licensing. So that's why I say this is a half free tool. It comes with 25 OSI licenses. You can hook it right up to, you install it, it's an appliance. You set it up. vCenter uses one of the OSI licenses, and each host will use one. And then you can dive in and get a little bit more deep with the some of the plugins and everything. You do have to pay at a certain point for all the add-ons and plugins. But this base alone is a good place to start. And once again, how is this useful? I had a client, I was doing a vSphere upgrade. This was the start of this year, actually. I was doing a vSphere upgrade, and he said, yeah, host 3, this thing, it takes 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to actually load in the Windows clients. And when you click it, everything is slow. It takes forever to, move. All the VMs running on it are fine. There's no alarms, nothing visible in the host and the vCenter reporting. We logged into the iDRAC card, and everything's reporting is healthy within the actual physical hardware. So I said, all right, let's drop vRealize Log Insight. Let's let that jump in, pull the logs, and we'll take a look at it. So sure enough, we install it. It's a couple minute install, real easy. Next, and it's up. Within a few minutes, we're looking at it, and we're seeing a line item alert for an issue with an HBA adapter. Turns out that adapter is actually where the SD card, where the operating system boots from. And it was a Dell rack mount with dual SD cards, and one was not functioning. So the client, I said, okay, open up a ticket, and actually I found out a little bit more information about this through the vExpert community, as other people were seeing issues on specific Dell rack mount servers that an SD card would be down, and it's not really reporting it. Dell's like, we don't see this. So I said, take these logs, take a little bit more information, open up a ticket with Dell. Sure enough, Dell came back and not only said, yep, that's broken, they gave him the whole assembly to replace for both SD cards. His problem was ongoing for 6+ months, and it was solved within 5 minutes of using vRealize Log Insight. So again, if you've got vCenter, you're already paying for it, use it up. A few other community tools recommended, Veeam-1, similar to VROps, VMware Power CLI for Linux and Mac OS. I've got a blog post up from when I first gave this session at VMUG a few months back. I'm going to keep updating that with tools. And if you've got suggestions you'd like to tell me about, I can add it on the list as well. Not sure how we're doing on time here, but I'll take a little, got a couple minutes? Okay. One more tool I want to bring up then, since I got a little bit of time. This one isn't free. It was my other half free tool I considered. Anybody use vRealize Ops Manager? couple hands. That one is a pay-for product, but you can use it for 60 days on the trial license, and you can actually do a lot of good with that in that 60 days. That's a tool that I use as a vendor to do health checks. It's one of the many things that I do for health checks for my clients, as well as using VCheck. Your vendors also have access to more reporting that we can plug into the ops manager for that time frame. And that gives you health of all of your VMs, gives you graphical reports on the health of your cluster, your hosts, your vCenter, gives you capacity planning, it gives you hardening and security updates. So that one's worth kicking the tires on for 2 months. You're gonna hook it up right away, and you're gonna start getting some information. The real meat starts coming in about a month in, after it's had time to watch your environment through regular workflow and see what it's actually doing. And I've actually had customers that we use it during this trial period or during the health checks, and they've said, you know what, let's purchase this. We can see this being useful to us regularly. So that's another one worth checking out. So as I said, the slide deck is up on my blog. There's the link. I did this at the Wisconsin VMUG UserCon. There's a little bit more information, a couple other pieces of tools that I didn't have time to include here. The link to VCheck, the link to RV Tools, and there's a couple of really good blogs out there about lists of all sorts of free tools. Obviously, with a 15-minute session, we couldn't go on and on and on. But yeah, this is all up. Feel free to grab a screenshot or check out the blog or grab me afterwards for any questions. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time.